Hello guys and welcome to Vlogging Project. It's Tony here, your favorite YouTuber. In today's review I'm going to feature the cheapest phone with a Quad HD 1440p LCD screen on the market right now, which is the Sharp Z3, guys. This device was released in late 2017 and I remember clearly because I've made the video how to change it to a global ROM. It was a Chinese only device, I believe, and 1 year later in 2018 I managed to get my hands on one for just £110, guys. Of course this offer is long gone and your only chance of finding one is on eBay, but pretty much under £100 you can still find it, and indeed it has a proper, Quad HD screen. But of course, nowadays manufacturers are steering away from Quad HD screens for battery concerns and heat mainly. For example, phones like the OnePlus Nord N100 has a 720p screen, which is definitely sharp enough and you cannot tell the difference from 1080p, but more on that is coming on my channel. And don't get me wrong, I've always been an advocate for pushing higher resolutions to the screen because it definitely makes a difference, but there's an asterisk here, but it makes a difference if the screen is well done, if it's sharp enough, and if the processor can actually handle it, and of course if the battery life is good, which is pretty much the main concern about this device. But more on that a little bit later on. First of all, let's talk about design and build quality. The phone is definitely big, guys. It is a big phone. There are absolutely enormous bezels top and bottom, but at least at the bottom we've got the fingerprint reader, which works 100% of the time, is forward facing, so naturally if you're a driver, for example, a chauffeur, a Uber driver, whatever, you want a phone with a front-facing fingerprint reader pretty much. The button placement is absolutely terrible, guys. The power button is on the left side on top, volume rockers are on the left side as well, and you've got two separate trays for the SIM card slots, and it's like, anyways, and at the back we've got a metal back, but it's the old school metal back. The phones used to be like that, like, I don't know, 2014, 2015. It definitely feels nice, it's relatively slim, but that's the problem over here. The battery inside is 3100 milliamp hours, guys, and it recharges for 2 hours 25 minutes, which is absolutely mind-blowing. In terms of battery life, I'm getting between 3 and 5 hours of screen on time. Why the difference, you might say? Well, you have the option to turn the resolution down to 1080p, and in 1080p you get 5 hours, in Quad HD you get 3 hours, which 3 hours, I mean, it's pretty bad. 3 hours, come on. It's not enough for the day, and the problem is the processor inside. Snapdragon 652, which is one of the all-time worst Snapdragon processors of them all, guys. The minute you start the game, it overheats. Simple as that. Especially in Quad HD, it immediately overheats. Even in 1080p, it overheats. And in terms of the gaming itself, Kazja in Quad HD returns like 15 FPS, which means that the games are pretty much unplayable, and I'm not talking about Call of Duty, I'm talking about Angry Birds. And if you turn the resolution down to 1080p, you're getting a little bit over 33 FPS as far as I remember. But that's the thing, the thermal throttling kicks in almost immediately, so you're getting even less than that. So definitely for gaming, this it is not recommended, and the performance is similar, although you've got 6 gigs, oh wait a second, 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. The RAM management is kind of on the edge now. It's okay, but it's just only 4 gigs, and that's the thing, the processor starts to throttle. So yeah, that is the main issue with this phone, guys. Otherwise, you have a bottom firing speaker. It's well, okay, I would say, and the 3.5mm jack is going to surprise you. It is really powerful, guys. I didn't expect that. You don't have any equalizer settings or anything like that, but man, that's I'm not gonna say one of the best, but it's up there. It's really good, guys. And finally, in terms of software, well, actually it is very nice and clean. There is no bloatware, but this is the global ROM. It was available when I bought this phone. It was available from Sharp's official web store. You just put it on the phone, download it, just flash it, and there you go. You've got an international ROM with Google Play services. Unfortunately, they took it down at some point, so if you manage to get a new unit, it's gonna come with the Chinese firmware without Google, so you're gonna have to look for the firmware yourself. So pretty much it is a hassle, guys. One very peculiar thing I don't usually talk about because it's okay, but on this phone the vibration actually is quite strong, guys. Just a small little thing I had to mention. And now finally, let's talk about cameras. At the front you've got a 13 megapixel shooter, and most of the time the photos are not in focus, guys. If you manage somehow to make it in focus, then the quality is actually okay, but most of the time you're not in focus. There is no 4K from the front camera, only 1080p and no stabilization. The quality is poor, so pretty much the selfie camera is a letdown. At the back we've got a 16 megapixel unit with dual tone flash. The daylight photos look very well, guys. Very nice daylight photos. Unfortunately, low light is absolutely terrible and grainy. You've got 4K. The quality is really not good of the 4K. You've got 1080p, again not good quality, and no stabilization across the board. So yeah, only daytime good photos with this phone, which to be honest with you is not an exception. I mean, with every modern smartphone you can actually take very good to excellent photos in daylight. So yeah, but don't forget, guys, this phone is under £100 now, so for under £100 the back camera is good. So before I conclude this video, although I mean it should be clear by now that you should not buy this phone simply because of the Quad HD screen, because of the massive battery drains pretty much and the poor performance. But nevertheless, if you decide to buy it anyways, against my advice, let's have a look at the Volokin Spectrum scoring system, where I've rated over 120 phones tested on my channel, guys, just to have an idea how does it compare to similar cheap devices. Is it better? Is it worse? Where does it stand? So I've got 10 different categories. I rate the phones from 0 to 6. So let's start with design and build quality. So for design and build quality, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not particularly beautiful. So I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5, guys. Next up is security. Because of the front mounted fingerprint reader, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Next up is the screen, and let's give it 3 out of 5 as well. The battery life is pretty much poor, so just 2 out of 5. And also, over these 2 years of ownership, I haven't used the device much, but the battery degraded significantly. There are replacement batteries on AliExpress, but that's definitely not the point here. The bottom firing speaker gets 3 out of 5. The headphone output gets actually 4 out of 5. The software, although it's Android 8, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 because I actually like it. It's clean and it's nice. The performance gets 3 out of 5 as well in 1080p, that is, otherwise it's like 1 out of 5. The selfie camera gets absolutely 1 out of 5, very unreliable, and the back cameras, I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. So how much is the overall Volokin Spectrum score? It's 28 out of 60 and currently occupies the 91st place on the Volokin Spectrum spreadsheet. You can check it in the link in the description down below, but what you're looking at right now is the screenshot, and you can see how it compares to similar devices. Pretty much the same score as the Samsung A20e, which was a budget device released by Samsung, pretty much the lowest range that they've got. And that's about it for the Sharp Z3. I mean, the only thing which was supposed to be the selling point of this phone actually absolutely destroyed the performance and the battery life of the phone. Two very important things, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't buy the Sharp Aquos Z3, although it is the cheapest phone with a Quad HD screen. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for my next review. Thanks again. See you later.